and welcome to today's video diary. So today I've had the opportunity to attend two one-to-one sessions with David Case Duncan, the team leader for social media. The reason I approached David was I think it's always good to cross-network, but also it was interesting to see how a team leader motivates people and carries out their one-to-ones in a part of the business that is very much based on people's perception. So for me, I thought it would be interesting to see, are the one-to-ones carried out how they are throughout the enterprise area, or if he puts a different spin on it. The first one-to-one was with a new starter that had only been with the company 3 weeks, and it was very much a case of, how are you doing? How have you found the last 3 weeks? And he was very lucky because this agent was very forthright in coming forward with their feelings and emotions, what they were finding hard, what they were enjoying, and what they wanted to do. David spent a lot of the time just letting the agent lead the conversation and was showing how invested he was by his body language, his verbal nods, picking up on key sentences and smiling and agreeing and just making sure that that agent knew that he was there and he was listening. When coming to go through a grow form with him, because the agent was so forthright in coming through with a lot of information, the agent then did find it hard to pinpoint what his exact goal was. So David worked through it in a different way. He went through the reality, so what's happening at the moment, what's restricting you from feeling comfortable in your role. And that would be things such as not having access to certain systems and knowledge gaps. So then it was looking at options, what he could do. So asking him how that agent could go and fill those knowledge gaps. What could he do to improve learning about new processes? Could he be sitting with others and getting them to show him the processes whilst he's awaiting access? So coming up with really good, useful ideas to help the agent. Then it was a case of will and way forward. How are you going to commit to doing this? Are you going to leave this one-to-one and go and start sitting with people and asking these questions, to which he did commit to? That brought it back then to the goal. So your goal was to fill knowledge gaps and to learn about processes and systems. He was very reassuring with the agent though. You can't run before you can walk. So to be patient with yourself and just keep building and doing what you're doing, because there is a competency curve when you do start, and you can't expect to be at the same level as an agent that's been there 2 or 3 years in 2 or 3 weeks. So just to make him aware, I know where you want to be, but let's continue to not put too much pressure on yourself and just keep learning. So that was really nice to see how he dealt with that. The second one-to-one was dealing more with an accountability issue with a agent. So this agent was quite seasoned and they'd been there for quite some time, and they had a good rapport and they did get on very well. But when discussing the previous one-to-one, it was looked at the KPIs weren't quite being met, and it was more of an awareness piece. So asking them, how can you improve this? Tell me what you'll do. Are you doing anything differently? And going through the growth form as a case of really focusing on your reality and your options. The reality is, if you're not performing, the options would be, how can you improve performance? If you don't, then you are going down the route of action plans, disciplinaries. And that did kind of shock the agent a little bit, because it was clear to see the agent did enjoy their job and didn't realise how much of the work that she was becoming distracted from by various things in her environment. So suggestions such as, maybe you could go and sit in another room to work and get your work done, even though it sounds quite bold and can be quite unnerving for the agent, it's making them aware, use whatever you can in your resources to make sure that you are performing, because ultimately you're here to do a job, and if you aren't doing the job, then you are going to go down the routes of action plans, and that isn't necessarily where anybody wants to end up. But an action plan is also to help you get back on track. So just the mention of it, you could see that the agent was like, nope, I will be focused and I'll commit. And they did start then to pave a way for their will and way forward. So advising what they will be doing when they come out of the meeting to make sure that they start to get back on target. Both of them were very different, and I particularly liked how with each session it was very case of asking probing questions. Tell me, how are you going to do that? What are your options? As opposed to telling them what their options are. And I think that's what makes a very successful one-to-one. Thank you for watching.